Age Tech Innovators.
Welcome to Age Tech Innovators, the podcast where we explore how technology is transforming the way we care for our aging population. I'm Monty, your host, and each week we chat with inspiring leaders who are making a real difference in the lives of older adults, sharing innovations and ideas that help support and uplift those who need it most. Join us as we work together to build a brighter, more caring future for everyone. So, let's dive in. I'm with the amazing guest Amit today. And can you give me a rundown of who you are and what you do in 60 seconds?
Yeah, so first of all, thanks for welcoming me. Good to be here. I'm Amit Shamiss. I'm a VP Business Development at Essence Smartcare, leading provider of Age Tech solutions worldwide in over 30 countries. Personally, I'm in the business for more than 10 years, even 12 years, when we just started the whole business of Essence Smartcare. So during my time, I spent, time with developing new technologies, deal with penetration and collaboration of our first step and further step with the leading biggest Telecare providers all over the world, from Europe to US to Latin America to Australia, and just grew together with the company and tried to fix, adjust our technologies to the need we learned that both the end users and the provider need in order to grow. So this is basically.
Amazing. I'm really excited to have you here. Thank you so much for your time. It means a
Welcome.
lot. So, as you mentioned, you've had a lot of experience in the last 10 years. What brought you into this sector? There's so many personal stories that bring people into wanting to use technology to support people. I'd love to hear if you have one.
Yeah, so when I started my career in this company, we went from the security segment, dealing with, helping people to feel safe. And then the company wanted to look on different markets. We looked on the elderly care, senior care market back then in 2012. And we clearly saw what we can see also today, that this population is growing. More and more people need those care services. We had the expertise from the security market with products that can be installed at home, can work from home. And we looked how we can innovate in this space, and we saw this great opportunity. So, in person, I believe everyone can feel, close to this market, because you can find in your, close environment some relative that can enjoy and benefit those services. So this is in person, but also I think everyone want to do something meaningful. So it's not only, I don't want to talk about other industry, but it's not like fintech or other things. Here we have, really
Yeah.
dealing with improving people life. And once, the first time you heard about something that happened, that your technology and the service help people, so it's amazing and giving great satisfaction. So I think this is what makes you want to keep this.
In terms of helping people, I completely agree. It's so nice to be not just trying to generate revenue, but actually trying to lift up community and society as a
Yeah.
whole.
Success is also good, always good and meaningful. But in the end, if it comes with the bonus of helping people, so it makes a difference.
So when you moved over from the securities, helping people feel safe, towards the care and elderly care space, you mentioned that you had some experiences of seeing how it helped. What was one of the first times that you actually experienced or got to see how your technology was
No,
helping
very,
people?
very, very simple. One of the first product we developed for the market was kind of an AI activity monitoring solution. And one of the first user was my grandmother. So she was alone. We installed the system in her place. It's still a beta system, but we got some indication that his movement, something is unusual with her movement. And actually, we found out that she was on the floor for kind of 20, 30 minutes, but she could be there, for hours. And the system indicates that by analyzing the time she get into a room and how much time she could spend there by the part of the day and by the day itself. And this is the algorithm we built back then, and then the whole system that come with that, with the different sensors and fully digital systems. This was the first case I saw, what is the benefit people can get, the elder, but also his family. So it was quite amazing.
That's really beautiful to see it actually being used, and especially if it's beta, it working. I know that some of the betas that I was making a couple of years ago definitely wouldn't have kept anyone safe. So it's good to hear.
Yeah.
So in terms of your oversight and your view of the whole market, with our population set to double, or the elderly population set to double in about 25 years by 2050, what do you see some of the biggest challenges that we face as a sector being in terms of supporting this massively growing segment of elderly people?
Yeah, so first, I think also today, if we are looking on the size of the population compared to the penetration rates of telecare and also, other age care, age tech, technologies and solutions, so there is a gap. There is a big gap, and the way to overcome this gap is by awareness, but also by evidence, what can bring funds from governments or funds from other insurance companies. So it's kind of a circle the industry look to do. Awareness can be achieved by those associations that have in some of the countries, some of them are not, but in the UK you have it, and you can find it in the US. For example, so this can help to bring awareness, first of all, to families and those senior people that there is some services available. Then after, it should be accessible for them, it should be affordable for them, and the way to do it is to put evidence. So the whole sector need to somehow kind of put those evidence that once you use those services, because in the end it's services, technologies that enable service, it comes together. But once you're doing the whole thing, it comes with benefits like healthcare cost reduction and better outcomes. And more and more cases like this can push those industry to larger usage and uptake by the families, by the end users, what can only bring more affordable service because competition will get in. So this is kind of the way I see it. And in terms of the innovation, we know that there is the AI effect. It's very relevant here. So with those AI capabilities, the service and the technology can be more personalized and just, and touch the real pain points that can bring those outcomes. This is the way I see it.
So it's building awareness and then personalize. So that's the challenge, and then the innovation comes down to how can we personalize the actual the support towards these people.
Yeah. How it's two sides. So there is the user side, which want to have good experience, seamless as much as possible, and effective and affordable, but also the service provider side, which need the thing to be integrated, analyzed, so they don't have time to deal with, all of the dealing with the technologies should serve them. So there is quite a lot of things you need to do, but the outcome should be that it should be beneficial for the payers, so they can put the funds that make it more accessible to more and more users. And if you're looking on the penetration rates, it's a huge gap also today, but even, if you're looking forward, it will be more massive because more and more people get into this age that they need those services.
When you say there's a big gap in terms of penetration rates, that suggests that there's a lot of people out there who could benefit from these services and innovations, but aren't getting it. And as you say, because of potential awareness and evidence that it could really help them. Do you think that we'll see today's technology offerings penetrating deeper, or do you think there's going to be new space and new gaps for completely new inventions or innovations to then actually penetrate further?
I think I will say that the market this space is conservative but dynamic. So things already happen and it takes time to bring them. So also technology that are in place today are close to be much more in much higher usage in near future just take time to get the confidence they are doing the right thing. But the world is changing quickly, and the time to bring new technologies decrease. So with the time, depends on how long we are looking. But if I'm looking 10 years from now, definitely we'll see new technologies with some improvement of technology to will enable new technology to get in and change the market again and again. But in the end, I think it will be quite the same in terms of what the user can get. It will be a service coming, so it's not only technologies, the service that come with it. Technology can only enable the service, and it should go together. And as much as it will be integrated more together, the service and the technology, the outcomes can be better. It's kind
Okay.
of a two-side game.
From what you're seeing, where do you think personally the most exciting aspect of the next 10 years will be? Do you think it's the change in how the service or the technology, or I know you mentioned the combination of the two, but is there anything that you feel particularly excited about?
Yeah, about that, obviously, I will say there is a sentence that say there is more care that we can afford. So we look on, more and more people to serve, less people to serve them. And then the spaces where technology can help, I believe it could be things like voice analytics and also movement analytics, and those things that not very much depend on the person input. So you don't need full collaboration from his side. He can just do the same things you're doing, but then you can analyze it in seamless way and learn a lot of this. So if you analyze the voice changes, analyze the movement and the activity changes, you can learn a lot from what happens in people's life, and then you can spot on trends and things before they become emergency. And it can work 24/7 when the carrier cannot work 24/7.
Yeah.
So together with the service, it can be a very big impact on the way you can care for people as they getting old, and especially those who are alone will need those kind of services.
Okay. So we have the analysis of movement, analysis of voice, trying to understand more about the information that we can get about someone. If you were suddenly 40 years, 50 years older, and you woke up for a day and you were elderly, and you then had a day just to experience being older, what would you want technology-wise to make your day as enjoyable as possible? What do you think, from your perspective now, if you suddenly were frail, you would want to use?
Yeah, so I think it should serve me. This is always what technology should be. It should work for me, not that I will work for her, for he. It should
Yeah.
work for me as a person. It should remind me things, but it also can give me access or care for me once I need it. So if it will be so sophisticated, then when I'm feeling bad or something happens to me, I can get access to immediate service. This will be wonderful. And also it's a sense of security, sense of safety, so it's giving a great impact. But also those more lifestyle things like remind me to do things or help me to set up an appointment, or everyday kind of anything we can help with the everyday task with technology can benefit, make a benefit for people.
Okay, so it's really that it's a almost like a companion aspect of helping you with all the, not just if there's an emergency pressing a device, it's this
No,
general
no, no.
holistic
It's
support.
yeah, it's holistic. Holistic. It's also one of the things I have in mind. That technology should be holistic. So there is lots of things we are saying, but everything I believe it's true. You need to have holistic because everyone is a bit different, need different things. That's why it need to be personalized, and that's why it should be holistic and flexible. Though those are people that are more independent, that are less independent, but in the end, all want pretty much same thing. As long they are healthy and they can be by themselves, they want to age in place and to get the services around them and not work for them. And everyone need a bit different things. Okay, those are people that need more safety, those emergency services, because they are more tend to be in a risk that something emergency will happen to them. But there is people which are living alone, more independent, maybe need other things. So in the end, yeah, Technology, smart home technology should be holistic, should have a baseline that right for all and know how to customize the service for the person need.
Okay, thank you so much. That's super interesting. So we've got this holistic, ideal solution. To work towards that, there has to be a lot of collaboration and a lot of understanding and learning from each other.
Exactly.
I know that you have quite a unique perspective of seeing the UK and the US and Israel. And how do you think different countries can take inspiration from each other? And I sometimes see there could be more communication between each other. What are your thoughts? Where do you think is leading in terms of the elderly care space?
Yeah, I think elderly care, but also whole healthcare space. The key challenge, thing that need to be done in the future is to be more and more integrated solutions. So companies will have to see how they can integrate with each other to meet in the end, the user needs. It will be more open in terms of, the alarm receiving center will need to be able to work with different kind of equipment and provider, not just one, because if you tie it to one, you miss the other. So this is one thing. And in terms of, nationalities and regions, so from my experience, in the end, the end users are quite the same. They're quite the same. They are most of them are women. What we can do?
It's because we live too dangerously and
Yeah,
end up dying earlier.
yeah, exactly. But they are elderly, but they are at home. Some of them are more healthy than me and you. They're more active, let's say, than me and you. They are doing jogging and then going to the gym. And I think in the end, everyone want to be independent, this for sure, as much as they can, by themselves, independent, feel safe, no matter if they are in Israel or in UK or in the US. This is the end user we are talking about. And the difference is the way that they are getting the service. Some of the markets are private, some of the markets are more public. It makes a difference. Also, some of the markets and the products that are going in the market are very basic and some more advanced. You can see it on the size of the kit. So some of them only box and a button, some of them more think in basic. What I truly believe in is all of those associations, like you have in the US MAMA and the TSA. It's a great place to share information. So I believe if in more and more countries you will see such associations and there will be connection between them, so it will be good way to pass the information and learn from each other what works better, what not work better, and now we can bring the awareness higher to the people need it, and also push the governments and the insurance to put policies, reimbursement, subsidies to help people get access to those services. Obviously, this should have to be with a clear evidence that you saving costs and make better outcomes.
Yeah, I appreciate that. What do you think? So you mentioned that ultimately we're serving the similar end service user, which tends to be women living independently, and we all want to live independently. It's just how life expectancy is. Sometimes I talk to different businesses, and some are more focused on spending to save money. Sometimes businesses are focused on spending to expand. What do you think is going to happen to businesses who don't invest in new initiatives over the next 10 years versus the ones that are going to try and, because there are some businesses that very much hold on to their market share and aren't innovating. Do you think there's going to be a fragmentation? What are your thoughts?
I do think we will see more and more consolidation in the market, this for sure. And as said, we say it also in the beginning. So the market is conservative, takes time to bring innovation, but still it's a dynamic market. So what we see today, first of all, is the shutdown of the whole analog world. Once we are moving to digital world and will be fully digital world, it open many doors for innovation, because now you can do much more on digital than you had to do with analog. Although the market in some of the places can be very conservative, still I think providers have to put the infrastructure for innovation. So you should put an eye on innovation, because if not, you will stay behind, because it can happen once it starts, it can happen very quickly. And if you didn't make those infrastructure in advance, you can find yourself without user to serve because everyone will run to those who can serve them more. And innovation, this is what innovation is doing, is improving processes. So it's more that it can cut cost and bring much more value on similar cost or even lower cost. So, it's a clear thing. If you can get better service in lower cost or only even better service or only even lower cost, you will choose other on top in the end. And the way to do it is to be open for innovation, to be open mind and to put some infrastructure to be able to even, try innovation and test it and evaluate it to a point you believe it can really change your business.
With Essence, you mentioned that the market is a dynamic place and it's important to try new innovations. I've obviously heard a lot of good things about Essence, but what's some of your experiences with how this actually reflects in your day to day?
Yeah, I think, Essence Smart came from the day it established, it came with the flag of innovation. This was the way for us to be different from others. So actually, it's quite funny because we came with very advanced innovation in the beginning when we started. And then we went backwards to bring the basic. So if I'm looking on that innovation, it's very important to say that the idea is to align with what others are doing or be integrated with the basic and then put the other stone of the added value. So if you're coming with something that is very innovative, but it's very hard and it's very different from what the processes and the way the market is working. So it will be only nice to have, but it will be very hard to implement it. This is from our experience, and we learned that we need to first of all build a good baseline. It will be certified hub in our world, yeah, and just to align with the standard of the market, and then on top try to bring the innovation. And if you do it like this, I think the customer and the user understand better what you are doing and go with you. You can find those who will go with you, will be more innovative, will take more risk and will go with you only because you have this option. So it kind of come with basic, but let's say, basic that align with others in the same price, not something which is not reasonable, but know to offer extra, which can go farther than anyone else.
So it's making it accessible and getting people onto that journey and then bringing them into the more innovative aspects.
Yeah. Yeah, I can tell you, for example, okay, we have our own alarm system, which it's a cellular base, and it's, if I'm comparing it with the main other providers, it can be quite the same. Obviously, it's in high quality, there is lower quality, so you try to compare it to the good ones. But we put on top of it things that other have problems to do. We came with other things you can attach to it, voice activation, BLE connection with medical devices, activity monitoring, all on the same system. So in terms of, the penetration, the deployment, still people taking the basic, but they're taking our basic because they know with our basic they can grow to those with time. And this is if we came only with the innovation, so we always was in the innovation part, which takes time. You need to come with the standard and put on top of it the innovation.
Which ties in to the vision of seeing how the population is going to increase so much that they don't just want a solution now, they want someone who can solve their issue right now, but they can grow with as the
Future
population grows.
future proof technologies. This is the idea. You need to think further. It should answer the need today, but with thinking on and the ability to adapt later changes.
Fantastic. My last question, it's been very insightful for me, is and for people who see this growing need to support vulnerable people, they may be uncertain about how to actually enter this space. Do you have any advice for people who want to start their own business, who want to create innovations, for how to get into this sometimes quite difficult landscape?
Yeah. Yeah, it's good question. In very basic, we can say that, you're looking on this market, it's clearly growing market. It's very easy to see the trends of, how the aging population going up, how the caregiver rate per patient going down. So it's clear that there is some gap technology should need to solve, and there is lots of people to serve every day. There is more and more people to serve. But in the other end, it's a conservative market. In some places, things take time. It's not only going on innovation, also going on reliability. It's something you need to take in mind. Obviously, we talked about the passion and the satisfaction of doing things with meaning, not just so. It's also very important because it makes you wake up in the morning with smile and full energy to do, because you are dealing with people. But in the end, the way to do it, if I need to give an advice, so I think it should be focused, not going all over the place. Just focus on a key pain points. It can be or a process you think is not working good, or a need not served, not addressed need in the market. But I think the way to do is to find, first of all, the problem, the issue you want to solve. It should be a real one, big one, that clear view on what happened if you solve it. Then see how you can get in with a prototype, with a POC, and bring those evidence. This is what make the difference. It always, ask yourself if you are trying to solve a real problem, or you find a solution which is nice, but it's not solving a real problem. If you have such goal in terms of the market, I think it's the right market to be, because it's growing, and it's a global need. It's not something that happened in one place. It's a global need. So there is lots of places to go with that. And then once there is such a pain point it's clear for yourself you're going to solve, you need to put your energies about the evidence you are creating on solving it, so you can convince others that you have the ability to solve this problem. This is, I think, in high level.
Amazing. Well, there's a step-by-step guide to all of our listeners for how to enter
Yeah,
this space.
yeah.
That is all of my questions.
I think we covered a lot, and I want to thank you for this call. It was great.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. It was really, really fun to chat. And yeah, I learned a lot. So thank you so much.
Welcome. Have a good
Awesome.
one.
Catch you a bit. Peace. Bye bye.
Bye bye.